Navy at Air Force na siyang maghahatid sa inyo ng mga balita mula sa ating Armed Forces at iba pang impormasyon. Mga katropa, hanapin at ilike kami sa Facebook, Twitter at YouTube. DWDD AFP Radio, ang boses ng Kawal Pilipino.
Kayo ay nakatutok sa DWDD AFP Radio. Kami po ay kasapi ng KBP, Kapisanan ng mga Broadcaster ng Pilipinas.
Ito ang DWDD 1134 kHz AM. Balita, impormasyon at musika. Ito ang DWDD AFP Radio. Boses ng Kawal Pilipino.
Isang aklat lang ang iyong dala. Minsay wala naman pero papasok pa. Kahit anong mangyari ay tuloy-tuloy ka lang. Basta't kami mayroong natututunan.
Good afternoon mga katropa. Welcome to Voice of the Teachers Radio, the only program for teachers, by teachers, and with teachers. Sitting on behalf of Dr. Ray Samson, our perpetual main anchor, and one of our pioneers, in fact the first, and our executive director and co-pioneer and co-main anchor, Katropang Bobby Ancheta. This is your Katropang Jet Ramos, together with my forever and ever partner.
Hi, I'm Katropa Manilyn L. Tilde. How are you, Teacher Jet?
Eto, okay naman. Nakaka-adjust na sa bagong position ko sa Parañaque City College. At ikaw naman, Katropang Manilyn, kumusta ka na?
I'm good. At gusto ko din bumate sa mga Rosanian, sa aking mga co-teachers sa Rosa L. Sasano Novaliches Elementary School in Quezon City. Ayan, I'm good. Very busy kasi last week is the first week of school for public schools, no? So isa yung mga school ko dun sa nag-open ng school year 2023-2024. How about you, Teacher Jet? I know you're very busy in your PhD, right? Share mo naman.
May mga tinatapos pa at kailangan tapusin talaga at kailangan talagang magsikap pa kasi may time na I was going through personal and professional problems pero awa ng Diyos nalulutas din kaya kailangan balik-balik at saka back to reality. Hindi ka pwedeng tumigil, hindi pwedeng huminto ang mundo para sa'yo. Kailangan sumuong ka rin at kailangan mo ring sumulong at gawin ang paraan para ikaw ay makasabay sa agos. Ayun. At ngayon, Katropang Manilyn, ano po ba ang mayroon tayo para sa Oh my God?
Okay, ang meron tayo para sa Oh my God is what we call the Hagadaga. Ano yung Hagadaga? Mamaya malalaman natin yan.
Ayun, ako naman. Ayun, how about me? It's about the significance of buwan ng wika and kung paano dapat isabuhay ang diwa ng wika at kulturang Pilipino. And meron tayong special feature dahil ang aking pinagtuturuan ngayon ay may idinaos na opening activity at bagamat bukas ang culminating, syempre tatampok pa rin natin dahil maganda rin na mamulat ang mga katropa natin kung paano ipinagdiriwang dapat ang buwan ng wika. And hindi mahalaga na magarbo o napaka mamahalin. Ang mahalaga ay may pagdiwang natin sa creative na paraan. Lalo na ngayon kailangan tayong maging austere sa ating mga pagdiriwang. Ang mahalaga naman ay ang okasyon, hindi ang burloloy, di ba?
Yes, naniniwala ako dyan, Teacher Jet, no? Kailangan talaga bigyan natin pagpapahalaga ang ating sariling wika. No? Kasi minsan nakakatawa. Oo. Ayan. So,
Ayun, ngayon ay Ating
Ito.
babatiin at i-acknowledge ang ating mga AFP leaders sa pamumuno ni General Romeo Browner Jr., ang kasalukuyang Chief of Staff ng AFP. Siya ay taga-Philippine Army at kasunod nito ay si CRS Commander Brigadier General Arvin Lagamon ng Philippine Army din at ang ating station manager ng DWDD, Katropang Radio, at ang host ng Ang Inyong Kawal at Kumusta Pilipinas, si Major Senon C. Pancito III na bahagi rin ng Philippine Army. And gusto ko rin batiin ng ating mga kaibigan at katropa sa MCAG at sa DWDD sa mga department ng news, technical at saka production. Pagbati po sa inyong lahat. And sa ating loyal listeners and followers.
Yes. Of course, good afternoon. Kagaya nga ng sinabi mo sa ating mga loyal listeners and followers, sa ating mga viewers sa Facebook Live, AFP, DWDD, CRS, Virtual RTV, at Teacher Jet, syempre napapakinggan din tayo sa DWDD, AFP Radio 1134 kHz AM station.
Yes.
Ayan, marami tayong usapan ngayong araw na ito.
Oo naman. Kung sa inyo tungkol sa kahalaga ng ano ba yung tawag doon? Yung hagad something? Ano ba yun? Correct niyo po ako.
Oo, hagadaga. Malalaman natin yan mamaya kung ano yung hagadaga. Pero to give you an idea, no, parang it's a tool na ginagamit para malaman natin kung epektibo ba yung programa natin sa ating, it could be our school or any other agency in the government.
Yes, sa akin naman tungkol naman din sa kahalagahan ng buwan ng wika o sa pamamagitan ng espesyal na feature din bukod sa aking punto de vista. Kaya abangan po sa Speak Up ang punto de vista ko tungkol sa buwan ng wika. Ayun. At syempre, kumustahin din natin ang ating mga co-host, yung mga kaibigan nating segment host. Oo, batiin natin sila isa-isa.
Siyempre, Katropang Joy, Katropang Portia, Katropang Herman, Katropang Eman, Katropang Paul, Katropang Fe, Katropang Rizal, Katropang Bobby. Ayan, good afternoon sa inyong lahat. Alam ko nanonood sila at patuloy na sumusuporta, siyempre, sa bawat episode, sa bawat segment na meron tayo.
Yes, and I'd like to take this opportunity na batiin natin ng happy belated birthday ang inyong sister, ang ating forever katropa na si Katropang Giselle Legaspi Barrion. Maligayang kaarawan po.
Ayan, ang napakaganda at napakatalino nating katropa. And of course, get well soon sa aking kabiyak, sa aking asawa na si Lloyd. Ayan.
Tama, pagaling ka.
Alam mo yan, Teacher Jet.
Oo naman, syempre. Kaya totoong kasabihang health is wealth. Kaya huwag tayong makakalimot na kung tayo ay hindi malusog, tayo ay hindi uusog, hindi tayo kikita at mabubusog. Di ba? Kaya ngayon, anong unang sasalang sa ating palatuntunan? Walang iba kundi ang...
Oh my God!
Yes! Oh my God! At ang kasunod nito ay ang Speak Up. Kaya tutok na po tayo sa Voice of the Teachers Radio, isa sa mga palatuntunan ng DWDD AFP Radio, ang boses ng Kawal Pilipino. Take it away, Katropang Manilin, and then, yours truly, eto na.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Oh My God with yours truly, Katropang Manilin Tilde. This program aims to promote gender awareness and other GAD-related issues. And today is the first Sunday of September, and we're going to talk about Hagadaga, or the Harmonized Gender and Development Guidelines. First, let's start with the history. In 1993, The National Economic and Development Authority, or NEDA, and the National Commission on the Role of Filipino Women, now known as the Philippine Commission on Women, in conjunction with various Philippine government agencies, produced the guidelines for developing and implementing gender-responsive programs and projects. The document sought to assist line or implementing agencies in number one, complying with Republic Act RA number 7192, known as the Women in Development and Nation Building Act, and its implementing rules and regulations. Number two, integrating a gender and development or GAD perspective in development process, planning processes, and various stages of the project cycle. And number three, addressing the issues of inadequate sex disaggregated data and statistics for development planning and programming. Since the mid 1990s, most official development assistance or ODA donors have also crafted their own GAD guidelines to assist their officers, contractors, and local partners in incorporating GAD concerns in the design and implementation of their programs and projects. By early 2003, or 10 years after the Philippine government issued its GAD guidelines, Philippine government agencies had been contending with often overlapping GAD checklists. In mid-2003, NEDA and the Official Development Assistance Government or Assistance Gender and Development Network, or ODA-GAD network, agreed to harmonize GAD requirements after reviewing the existing checklist for project development, implementation, and monitoring and evaluation. This initiative aimed to produce a common set of guidelines for the Philippine government agencies and donors while allowing variations in priorities among them. So basically, the new GAD guidelines reflect the evolution of assistance framework from Women in Development, or WID, to GAD, and the current focus on women's rights. The current version of the guidelines also incorporates the suggestions of many groups in the Philippine government that have tried the original set of guidelines. Let's proceed to the objectives and contents. What are the objectives and contents of harmonized guidelines? The harmonized GAD guidelines seek to promote the twin goals of gender equality and women's empowerment. Specifically, this aim to, first, provide NEDA or ODA donors, Philippine government agencies including DepEd and development practitioners with a common set of analytical concepts and tools for integrating gender concerns into development programs and projects. And number two, it also helps achieve gender equality in and empower women through projects and programs. What are the main goals of PPGD, or the Philippine Plan for Gender Responsive Development? First, to increase economic empowerment of women. Second, protection and fulfillment of women's human rights. And lastly, to have a gender responsive governance. The main vision of PPGD is to achieve gender equality, women's empowerment, sustainable development, peace and social justice, actualization of human rights. This guidelines, Hagadaga guidelines, focuses on three main parts: the process, the strategies, and the development and management results of integrating gender equality and women's empowerment concerns in various stages of the project cycle, which includes project identification and design and assessment of projects for funding, project implementation and monitoring and evaluation. So to aid users of guidelines, of course, we have to focus on the gender equality and women's empowerment, which are conceived to occur progressively at different levels. It may be viewed and measured in terms of different indicators. Examples, improved physical welfare of women and girls, lower incidence of malnutrition, morbidity and mortality among girls and boys, lower maternal morbidity and mortality. This set of GAD guidelines subscribes to the idea that development involves the expansion of freedoms and strengthening of capabilities. In this connection, it recognizes that equality between women and men is a key women's human right. Participation in development is also crucial to the empowerment of women and men. And gender equality means promoting the equal participation of women as agents of economic, social, and political change. It also involves the achieving or towards achieving equality between women and men may involve the introduction of specific measures designed to eliminate prevailing gender inequalities and inequities. So the guidelines are designed for the use of those involving in developing, implementing, managing, and monitoring and evaluating development programs and projects in the Philippines. These are supposed to help NEDA evaluate or assess projects for funding. So this includes our schools, the Department of Education, involving all schools that are involved in GAD development, implementations, monitoring, and evaluation. So the guidance are also expected to assist government agencies and local government units or LGUs, not just in designing, but also in implementing, managing, monitoring, and evaluating development interventions. So the guidelines apply to all types of projects and programs, supporting first the identification and design of projects and programs. Number two, implementation and management. And number three, monitoring and evaluation. What are the possible programs and project development that we could have in our own agencies? So the guidelines for the identification and design of development projects and programs require project proponents and evaluators to consider 10 core elements of a gender-responsive project or program. Number one, participation of women and men in the identification of the development problem. Number two, collection and use of sex disaggregated data in the analysis of the development problem. Number three, conduct gender analysis to identify the gender issues that the proposed project should address. Number four, goals, objectives, outcomes, and outputs that include GAD statements that will address the gender issues. In issues particularly, as we discussed in number three, conduct of gender analysis to identify gender issues. Number five, activities that respond to the identified gender issues, including constraints to women's participation. Number six, conduct of gender analysis of the planned project to anticipate gender-related issues arising from the implementation of the design project. Number seven, monitoring indicators and targets, which include the reduction of gender gaps or improvement of women's participation. Number eight, project monitoring and evaluation system that includes a sex disaggregated database. Number nine, resources and budgets for the activities. And number 10, plan coordination with the Philippine Commission on Women or PCW or the agency's GAD plans. For project identification, the initial phase of the project or the project cycle involves generating information that reflects a high priority in the use of country's resources to achieve an important development objective. It is a process of searching for viable development initiatives aimed at responding to specific issues and problems. For GAD requirements, of course, the GAD focus areas at this stage of the project or program cycle are first, the participation of women and men, since development programs and projects address the needs of specific constituencies. The proposed female and male beneficiaries must be involved at the earliest stage of the project. Next, of course, the collection of sex disaggregated data and gender-related information and gender analysis of the development problem and the target population of the organization. So it involves the documentation of men and women in project preparatory activities, documenting the involvement of men and women, which requires classifying participation data by sex of the participants. So sex disaggregated data and gender-related information are also necessary inputs to a comprehensive analysis of the situation that includes the gender dimension of the development problem or situation and the existing gender issues. Next, we have the identification of gender issues and women's special needs that must be addressed. Gender analysis helps proponents identify gender issues and women's special needs that programs or projects should address. The problem of providing pregnant mothers with proper nutrition is part of women's special needs, but this problem is compounded by a gender issue. So women usually have a small share of the available food within the household. Project design and formulation. A gender responsive design addresses gender equality issues that have been identified in a gender analysis of the development problem and issues related to project management, processes, outputs, and outcomes. So GAD requirements as the design phase, the GAD areas of concern are as follows. Articulation of women's human right, or a gender equality goal, purpose, or objective. So a gender equality objective may be incorporated as part of project objectives or organizational goals to ensure that the project will address gender issues and the constraints that have been identified in the situation analysis. Also, we have the inclusion of gender equality and women's rights outputs and outcomes. The outputs and outcomes may be institutional or organizational changes, particularly in programs or projects that seek to mainstream GAD. Outputs may also relate to improvements in the situation or status of women and men. Number 3, support for gender responsive activities or interventions. Gender responsive projects and programs address relevant gender issues and achieve their gender equality goals. The main objectives or purposes by, of course, supporting activities or interventions that directly reduce gender gaps and inequalities, building capabilities, particularly for vulnerable or marginalized women, and fully utilizing the skills and knowledge of both women and men, including strategies that address constraints to women's participation or the attainment of the project's gender equality goals, purposes, and objectives, ensuring that objectives or activities and strategies do not create a negative impact on women's status and welfare. And last, creating project management environment that is committed and competent to pursue gender equality in the project. Of course, for the design, we also have to review the final project design using a gender analysis. After the project design has been completed, a gender analysis must be conducted to ensure that the activities and strategies are congruent with the gender equality programs or goals and the results that the project is supposed to attain, and that the project will not create gender inequalities or adversely affect women and girls. Of GAD activities, outputs, and outcomes calls for the commitment of project resources to eradicate gender discrimination or improve women's situation and status. And to ensure this, project needs to set targets and monitor project progress and accomplishments. So that's it for today's episode. This is your host, Maria Manilyn L. Tilde. Stay tuned for the next segment, Speak Up with Teacher Jeff.
Magbabalik po ang Voice of the Teachers Radio makaraan ng ilang patalastas Kaya tumutok po tayo sa DWDD AFP Radio, ang boses ng Kawal Pilipino. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat mga katropa. Ito po si Katropang Ramos para sa aking segment na Speak Up, kung saan ang mga wika ay tinatalakay sa konteksto ng pag-aaral, pagsusuri, pagtuturo, aplikasyon at iba pa. Pati na mga pagbabago. Narito po ang aking special episode para sa Speak Up na tungkol sa buwan ng wika. At aking itatalakay ngayon ang kahalagahan ng wika na pambansa at mga wikang Pilipino. Kung susumahin natin ay mahigit 180 ang ating mga wika rito sa ating bansang Pilipinas. Ngunit may mga lengguwahe na tinatawag na moribund o yung mga malapit ng mawala o mamamatay na dahil kaunti lamang ang mga nagsasalita nito o dili kaya'y ito'y halos hindi pinag-aaralan. Sa episode na ito, aking pasasalamatan ang lahat ng mga mananaliksik ng wikang Pilipino, lalo na special mention sina Dr. Rochelle Garcia Lucas, Dr. Shirley Dita, Dr. Philip Rentillo at iba pa. At yung mga mentor ko rin sa PNU, lalo na si Dr. Genuino at iba pa, na nag-aaral tungkol sa kung paano ginagamit ang wikang Pilipino at lalo na sa parte ni na Dr. Lucas, na Dr. Dita at iba pa, ay kung paano isa sa buhay at bubuhayin muli ang mga wikang Pilipino. Dito sa buwan ng wika ay 3 po ang dapat nating mapagtanto. Una, kapag ginagamit natin ang sariling wika, ang mga wikang ito ay hindi nakabababa ng antas. Bagkus, sa aking paniniwala, ang lahat ng wika ay pantay-pantay. Ngunit dahil sa mga influensya ng mga dating colonizer at dahil na rin sa influensya ng media, ay naroon pa rin ang persepsyon na ang wikang Ingles ay nakaaangat. Pero hindi ito totoo, sapagkat dito pa lamang sa Amerika ay ang pinaka palasak na wikang ginagamit ay hindi Ingles kundi Espanyol. Dahil ito ay malapit na rin sa Mexico at iba pang mga bansa, kahit na ang ibang mga bansa ay medyo napaghihiwalay ng tubig sa Amerika at mayroon ding Spanish influence. Rito sa ating bansa, tayo dapat magpasalamat sapagkat marami tayong mga wika. At ano ba naman ang aralin natin ng kahit 1 o 2 lamang na wika maliban sa Filipino? Walang masama sa pagsasalita ng Ingles. Ngunit ang aking minumungkahi ay gamitin naman natin lagi ang mga wika nating Pilipino. Lalo na kung tayo ay nagkataong nanggaling sa isang pangkat na kung saan ang wika ay katutubo o native to our ethnic group. Huwag tayong mahihiya. Bagkus, isabuhay natin ito. Kaya sa mga guro, ang pakiusap ko, lalo na sa mga nagtuturo ng MTB, MLE, ay ituro nyo rin alongside Filipino and English. And aking mungkahi rin ay ituro rin ito kahit pagkatapos ng MTB, MLE period. Bakit? Ayon sa pagsasaliksik, ang plasticity o flexibility ng utak ay mas nagaganap kung tayo ay maalam kahit sa 3 lengguwahe.
O kung mas higit pa, mas flexible, mas may plasticity ang ating utak. Kaya yun po ang dapat imungkahi. Dapat talaga na ilagay sa pantay na pedestal baga ang lahat ng mga wika. Dapat nating alisin ang kaisipan na ang Ingles lamang ay nakaaangat. Hindi to totoo. With the emergence of globalization, dapat nating alalahanin na ang lahat ng lengguwahe, lahat ng wika, ay tanggap na. At matagal nang tanggap. Tanggapin lang natin sa ating sarili na tayo ay may karapatan na iangat din ang ating mga sariling wika. Ikalawang punto, ang pagdiriwang ng buwan ng wika ay hindi lamang sa buwan ng wika mismo. Sa pamamagitan ng ating wastong paggamit at pag-aaral ng ating mga sariling wika at iba pang wikang Pilipino, tayo ay nagsasabuhay ng diwa ng pagkakaisa. Ano ba naman ang pag-aralan natin ng ibang mga lengguwahe? Ako, sa aking kaso, in my case rather, pinag-aaralan ko ang salitang Ilocano, Kapampangan at Bisaya. Kasi yun lang ang kaya ko sa ngayon. Pero nagsisikap din ako na matutunan ng ibang mga lengguwahe. Naririyan ng teknolohiya. Naririyan ng mga kaibigan natin na marunong gumamit ng wika dahil sila ay native speaker o yun ang first language nila. Yun. Dapat tayo bilang Pilipino ay mag-effort na matuto ng ibang mga wikang Pilipino. Nang sa gayon, ay may sa buhay natin ang mga wikang ito. At nang sa gayon, ay hindi maubos ang bilang ng mga tagapagsalita nito o yung mga nagsasalita. Kaya sinasabi ko lagi, walang ibang magmamahal sa ating bayan kundi tayo ring mga Pilipino. So, let us be good ambassadors of our country, but this time, through language. At wag tayong magulumhiyanan kung tayo ay nakakamali sa una. Ganun na talaga yon. But in time, we will get to learn how these languages are used and the grammar, the syntax, pragmatics at iba pa. And maintindihan din natin na sa pagtuto ng ibang mga wikang Pilipino ay naisa sa buhay natin ang diwa ng pagdiriwang ng mga wika. So language is unifying because even if we are not first language speakers, even if we are second language speakers or third language speakers, at least matututunan natin ang wikang Pilipino or rather, ang mga wika ng bansa na ating gusto. Kaya, choose one that you find comfortable, that you find easy to learn, and one that suits your interest and makes you enthusiastic to learn it. Yun. No matter how hard it is, just keep on learning. And you will get it. At doon mo masasabi na tama ako. Na magandang isabuhay ang diwa ng pagiging Pilipino sa pamamagitan ng pagkatuto ng ibang mga wikang Pilipino. Aking ikatlong punto. Gamitin natin ng wasto ang wikang Pilipino at iba pang mga wika sa Pilipinas. Naririyan ng iba na sinasabi na dapat mauna ang Ingles, pero mas maganda kung sabay-sabay. At ang diwa ng buwan ng wika ay para sa akin, ang pagkatuto hindi lamang ng wikang Pilipino at ng wika sa ating rehiyon, kundi pati na rin ang Ingles nang sabay-sabay dahil mas natututo ang mga bata na matuto ng mabilis at hindi sila nag-aalangan. At basta't ginagamit natin ang tama ang wika, inaaral natin ang istruktura, inaaral din natin ang tamang paggamit. Hindi tayo magiging alangan. At tayo rin, kalaunan, ay magiging eksperto sa lengguwaheng iyon. At bonus na punto, ang wika ay nagsasalamin ng ating kultura. Kahit na tayo may tinatawag na colonial influence, huwag nating ibaliwala ang kultura nating sarili na bagamat iba-iba according to region, according to ethnic group, ay nagsasalamin pa rin ang pagiging Pilipino. O gayahin natin ang India. Ang India, kahit na ang predominant ay yung mga nasa mainland, sineselebrate din nila yung mga kultura ng Northeast India na iba-ibang impluwensya mula sa mga kalapit bansa. Halimbawa, ang Bangladesh, Myanmar, China, at iba pa. Pati ang Bhutan at saka Nepal ay pinagdiriwang pa rin ang pagkakaiba-iba. At naroon din ang niyayakap ang isa't isa. Kaya sa pamamagitan ng wika, yakapin natin ang ating pagkakaiba, yakapin din natin ang ating pagkakapare-pareho, which is being a Filipino. At nawa sa buwan ng wika, mapagtanto natin na ang wika na pambansa, lalo na ang Pilipino, dahil ito ay ating isa sa mga official language, ay dapat natin gamitin hindi lamang sa pang-araw-araw na buhay, kundi sa mga profesyon, sa ating pagsasaliksik at iba pang mga larangan nang sa gayon ay lubha nating ma-intellectualize ang wikang Pilipino and eventually other Philippine languages. Because language is what defines us. Language is what identifies us. And language is what we live by. And what we live for and what we live with. At itong katropang jet ninyo ay nagsasabing, huwag nating ikahiya ang paggamit ng ating sariling wika. Pero dapat din nating matutunan ang iba pang mga wika. Nang sa gayon ay maging mas bukas palad tayo sa ating kapwa. At nang sa gayon din ay magiging lubhang maganda ang ating karanasan bilang mga Pilipino and global citizens too. Ito po si Katropang Jet para sa special episode ng Speak Up. And for our special feature today, aking iuulat ang naganap kamakailan lamang sa Parañaque City College kung paano nila ipinagdiwang ang buwan ng wika. Bagamat bukas ay ang culminating activity, ay ibabahagi ko po sa inyong lahat mga katropa ang mga naganap sa pagdiriwang ng buwan ng wika na nagsimula at naganap noong Miyerkules lamang. Narito po ang aking munting feature para sa inyong lahat at sana'y makapulot kayo ng inspirasyon mula rito.
Mula rito sa Voice of the Teachers Radio, ito po si Katropang Jet Ramos para po sa special feature ng Speak Up. Gaya ng ating nabanggit kanina ay itatampok po natin ang pagdiriwang ng buwan ng wika sa Parañaque City College. At ang tema ay umiinog sa pangkalahatang temang Pilipino at mga katutubong wika. Wika ng kapayapaan, seguridad at inklusibong pagpapatupad ng katarungang panlipunan. At ang mga tagapayo sa Pilipino na sina Ginoong Abner Oreta at Binibining Aisa Serrano Oreta ang nagpasimuno at nagpatupad nitong programang ito para sa buwan ng wika. At ang unang araw ay idinaos noong Agosto 30 ng kasalukuyang taon. At ito'y nagsimula sa pamamagitan ng isang interkultural na panalangin, pambansang awit at imno ng Parañaque City College. Ang vision ay binasa ni Ginoong Hans Adrian Osias habang ang mission ay binasa ni Binibining Joanna Marie de la Cruz. Ang core values ng PCC naman ay binasa ni Rani Remora habang ang graduate attributes ay binasa ni Binibining Erica Rodriguez. Ang pambungad na pananalita ay ibinigay ni Profesora Mildred May Melodias habang ang inspirational message ay ibinigay ng kasalukuyang OIC ng Institute of Arts, Sciences and Technology at ang Department Head ng General Education na si Dr. Maria Gertrude Serrano. Ang pampasiglang bilang o ang intermission number ay ibinigay ng Music Club ng Parañaque City College. At ang event, ang programa, ay binuksan sa pamamagitan ng paglulunsad ng isahang awit na ang itinatampok ay ang mga awiting OPM o original na Pinoy music. At mayroon ding poster-making contest, slogan contest, at pagsulat ng sanaysay. Ang panapos na pananalita ay ibinigay ni Ginoong Abner M. Oreta. Ang mga tagapagdaloy para sa unang araw ng Buwan ng Wika celebration ay si Binibining Yesamin Agustin at Ginoong Jonel Reyes. Ang second and last part o culminating ay idaraos bukas, ika-4 ng Setyembre ng taong kasalukuyan. At ito ay sa pamamagitan ng pagsisimula ng patimpalak sa entablado, pagbibigay ng karangalan, mga pampasiglang bilang at mga panapos na pananalita na magmumula kay Dr. Maria Gertrude Serrano. At ang mga MC para bukas ay sina Ginoong Jeric Lamido Olarte at Binibining Hasmin Enriquez. Ito po si Katropang Jet Ramos mula sa Parañaque City College na nag-uulat para sa special feature ng Voice of the Teachers Radio para sa Speak Up episode.
Panibagong kaalaman na naman po ngayong linggo ang naibahagi namin sa inyong lahat. Ayan, so marami tayong natutunan ngayong araw na ito sa aking episode, or oh my God, syempre ang natutunan natin ay para mas maganda ang daloy ng programa. Ayan, how about sa ating episode naman sa Speak Up, Teacher Jet? Ano ang ating pwedeng ma-share sa ating mga viewers and listeners?
Ayun. Tungkol sa Buwan ng Wika, ito ay dapat na ipinagdiriwang hindi lamang buong Agosto, kundi ipagdiwang natin ang buong taon sa pamamagitan ng wastong paggamit ng wikang Pilipino at iba pang mga wika sa Pilipinas. Kaya tandaan po natin, no language is above another. Yun lang po.
Yes, I totally agree. Of our katropa, Katropang Joy, Katropang Portia, Katropang Jano, Katropang Herman, Katropang Eman, Katropang Fe, Katropang Rizal, Katropang Paul, Katropang Bobby. And of course, may nakalimutan ba ako, Teacher Jet? Katropang Janice. Ayan.
Oh,
so,
Katropang
sa ating...
Ochi at iba pa.
Ayan. At marami pang mga katropa. Ang ating katropa listeners, viewers. Ayan. This is yours truly, Katropang Manny Lintilde. And of course, my partner.
Yes, this is Katropang Jet Ramos. And we are the voice of the teachers. May po sa inyong lahat and always be happy and keep safe and dry.
Ito ang DWDD 1134 kHz AM. Balita, impormasyon at musika. Ito ang DWDD AFP Radio. Boses ng Kawal Pilipino.
In this modern age of ever-evolving security threats, an organization stands out in the Philippine Army. Professional soldiers with unwavering commitment, working as a team, performing tasks unheard, unseen, providing accurate, timely, relevant, and predictive intelligence. They are exactly where they are supposed to be, upholding the core purpose of serving the people and securing the land. We are your Army Intelligence Regiment. Artillery is regarded as the primary fire support means for ground forces. Our mission is to provide timely and accurate artillery fire in any combined arms and joint operations. Ready to integrate fires in all combat missions, provides deep and close artillery fire, and protects the force. We are the artillery. We are the king of battle.
One, two, three. You with the sad eyes, don't be discouraged. Oh, I realize it's hard to take courage in a world full of people. You can lose sight of it all. The darkness inside of you can make you feel so small. And I see your true colors shining through. And I see your true